Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Courtside with Beilinson Tennis, part of the Tennis Channel Podcast Network. We are privileged to have with us former top 30 singles player on the WTA Tour. This guest was a participant of all major slams, reaching the third round in the French Open, Wimbledon, and the U.S. Open. Her accomplishments include winning one title on the WTA Tour, where she defeated two-time slam winner and former number one in the world, Amelie Mauresmo. She also represented her country, Slovenia, in both Fed Cup and at the Olympics. After this guest's professional playing days were over, she has focused her time on teaching tennis. She's currently a colleague of mine. Please welcome to the pod, Tina Pisnik. Tina, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and talking us through your tennis journey.
Thank you for having me. This is super fun.
So, obviously, and we see you, we can follow you on Instagram. I know you're pretty active on that social media vehicle. You've been back on the court, obviously more than was in March and April, where pretty much stopped. I know you love to teach. I know you love putting in the hours. It's a lot better now than it was in March and April, huh?
So I did have a lot of time in March and April to be a little more active on social media, and was making a lot of videos actually at my house in the basement, driveway, and all that. So I was a bit more active then. I am spending way more time on the court now, and I'm a little less active there. But very, very active on the court, putting a lot of hours in. And
for sure.
Happy that things are somewhat back to normal.
Yep. And of course, as we all are, we have our proper protocols in place. It's good that tennis generally is social distancing, just how it is, but always having the proper safety protocols in place. So that's great. So you had quite a career, and now you're doing great work on the teaching side. I want to kind of start with your journey from the beginning. I know you came from a competitive family. Your dad was very competitive soccer player. How did you get started in tennis?
I think it was very popular there. So we had like tennis school and 400 kids signed up for a tennis school. So I was one of them. But I feel like if there was a women's or girls soccer team, that I would end up in soccer. But it just wasn't a thing. I did spend a lot of time with my dad at his practices. And then when he became a coach, I would go and be with the boys. But, it was never a team. And I really liked competing. And it was all about, even when I played tennis, it was for me hard to practice just cross courts and down the lines or, figure eights. I was super excited when the coach said, okay, let's play, team 21, or let's play points and let's play sets. So that's how I ended up being in tennis.
How old were you when you started?
So I started as a gymnast when I was really young, because my mom was a competitive gymnast. So that was actually soccer was my first sport, because my dad would put a soccer ball at my feet when I wasn't walking yet. And then I would go into gymnastics for a little bit. And then when I went to first grade, so I was like 6.5 years old, they opened up this registration for tennis school, and my dad signed me up, and it was, nowhere. We never thought I would go pro or anywhere. It was just, I was super active, and it was structured, and she has somewhere to go, and, she can get some energy out. And that's how I got stuck with tennis.
Perfect. Well, it worked out quite well. I mean, you were going to get to your pro career in a bit. You turned pro at 18 years old. You obviously had a good junior career to turn pro at 18 and do as well as you did. What were some of the highlights in your junior career?
I was very fortunate to have a very passionate tennis coach when I was super young. So he would have like 4 or 5 girls that would take us all around Europe playing the 12s, the 14s. And then I started playing ITFs, played the Grand Slams of the ITFs, and then finished my junior career as winner of the Orange Ball at the end of the year and number 1. So that was kind of like, okay, now it's time to, move on and go pro.
And college was not something really that you were looking into. You had your sights set on pro, like you said, you turned pro at 18.
Yeah. So I did get a lot of offers after winning the Orange Ball, but that was kind of B plan if things didn't work out. But yeah, I wanted to be competitive. I wanted to go pro. I wanted to travel. I, watch tennis on TV and want to be part of the tour. So that was the direction I was, working towards to.
Got it. And Your career spanned from 1998 to 2005. 1999 was really your breakthrough year. You jumped over 300 spots into the top 100. What clicked? I mean, 1999, that's really your second full year on tour. What clicked during that year to make that huge jump?
I had a really interesting start to my career. I was after I won the Orange Ball, I moved to Rick Macy Tennis Academy to train, and there was at the club there was a sign for pre-qualies for the Miami Open. So I haven't played a tournament for a while, and I was like, okay, I'm kind of a local now. Let's sign up. So I went to play pre-qualies, not really knowing what that means. I just wanted to get some matches in. And then I won 9 matches in pre-qualies, which granted me a wild card into the qualies. And I qualified. I won 3 quali matches.
Wow.
And won a first round in the main draw, and then lost to Conchita Martinez in the second round. So that was my first tournament. And then some like management group noticed me there and offered me a wild card into the qualies to Amelia Island. And so then I just went straight there, won 3 rounds in the qualies, won a round in the main draw, and lost to Lindsay Davenport. So that was my second tournament. And that's how basically I started.
Wow, that's how you make that jump. You start early and you have good results. I mean, that's how you make a jump over 300 spots quickly.
Yeah, it just clicked. It was, being at the right time at the right place. It wasn't,
and you see, I mean, you see people stuck at that 400, 500 level. If they don't have those quick starts right away, it's that they get stuck in that 400, 300, 200 level and they can't get out of it. That's great start by you. And you said Lindsay had a really, really good start when she first started. I think one of her main tournaments when she was really young was Indian Wells. And I think she did really well in Indian Wells, maybe her first year on the tour. I could be wrong on that, but I remember that she did really, really well early. And that's how you get a great start in your career. That's awesome. So you were top 30 in singles, top 65 in doubles. You participated in all of the slams. You made the second round in Australia, third round in the French, again losing to Conchita Martinez. So you played her a few times. Wimbledon, lost to Anka Huber. And then at the U.S. Open, third round match. This is the one that I think may have hurt the most. You were so close to the round of 16. Scavone beat you 7-5, 7-6. I think that second set breaker was maybe 11-9. Did you have set points? Did you have set points in that set?
I still remember that match. We were just going at each other, slicing, coming in. It was, it was fun. Adrenaline was going. I was pretty bumped after that, and this is probably the first time I had beer right after the match. We had in the locker rooms. It was beer there, so I just had I had
first
to have
time
it.
you ever tasted. First time you ever tasted alcohol.
Yeah,
and you were over. By the way, for the listeners, Tina was over 21.
It was legal. It was legal.
What was your favorite slam to play?
I mean, it's super hard for me to say because I grew up on clay, so I liked French Open. It was, it was my surface. It was grass. It was my surface as well because I would just transition to serve and volley. Loved coming in, hitting slices. So I enjoyed, playing on grass, which is kind of weird because it's completely the opposite to clay. Then US Open, it's Manhattan. It's, it's just, 24/7 action. It's super fun. And then I think at the Australian Open, they just take care of the players the best. It's just, they're super friendly and offer a lot. And so it's kind of hard to say, but my goal or my dream was to win Wimbledon. That's what I was always dreaming of, even when I was little.
Did you ever play grass growing up, other than like you said, the junior Wimbledon or whatever?
No, even when I was a pro, it was like 3-4 weeks a year.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Hey, well, at least at the slams, you were consistent on all services, and that says a lot. Because I remember when I was growing up, a lot of players that loved clay after the French Open, and grass was different back then than how it plays now. They wouldn't even go over and play Wimbledon because they knew they had no chance. They just would skip.
I was looking forward to it. I love serving, volleying, and coming in. So yeah.
Awesome. I also want to talk about you representing your country, both in Fed Cup and the Olympics. The Olympics was 2000 and 2004. Fed Cup, that every time you qualified, you played, basically. Talk about those experiences, because that's got to be super, super cool representing your country.
So we were like, my generation was the first one to actually qualify in the world group in Fed Cup, and we hosted the US in Slovenia. So that was a big deal and super fun to have all of these big names coming over and play them in front of the home crowd.
Who was on
And
the
I am a
U.S. team? Who was on the U.S. team that time around?
It was Martina, Lisa, Raymond, Venus, and not sure who the fourth player was,
Okay,
but
cool.
yeah, but it was, just fun having them there. Such a small country, it was a big deal. And playing them, we didn't really have a big tournament at home, so home crowd could never see us play at home. It was either on TV or if we were able to be online somewhere. But that was the first time, and it was super exciting to be able to perform before in front of them. And I love team environment. It's a different animal when you have 4 or 5 people behind you every point, and you're playing not just for yourself, for the team, for the country. So I really enjoyed those weeks.
And the Olympics as well.
And then Olympics is just being it wasn't for me so much about tennis then, because you do spend a lot of time with top players at the Grand Slams and other tournaments, but it's just like all other sports and all other countries, and it's just intense and insane, and would go back if in a heartbeat if I could.
I think every athlete that has participated in the Olympics, when I ask them about their experience, they basically echo what you said. It's not so much their particular sport that they were competing at. It was the opening ceremonies. It was being around all these other, like you say, insane athletes, and going to events. It was just the overall experience, which is something that you never, ever get taken away from your life. Super.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
So obviously you had a good career, and unfortunately, and it happens to a lot of players, and it's got to be extremely frustrating. Injuries cut your career short. And, I can let you go into detail on what that frustration was like if you want, or we can kind of go into your love for teaching, which you went into pretty quickly. And then you kind of got out of it. You got into teaching pretty quickly in your home country, Slovenia, and then you kind of got out of it a little bit, did something completely outside the world of tennis, knew that was not for you, which for me, that there's no shame in doing that. A lot of times it's seeing what you don't like to try to figure out what you do like. So kind of talk about how your career ended, and then the transition into teaching, and how much you love it so much now.
Growing up, like, I wasn't very fortunate with having sponsors or a lot of money, so it was all about figuring things out, maybe join another team to have someone to hit with, or coach look at you, or stuff like that. So after that breakthrough and getting to the top 30, I kind of felt, okay, I have budget, I can afford like a full-time coach traveling with me, maybe bring a fitness coach with me, or a trainer, and really give myself a shot at top tennis. So playing the Los Angeles tournament in 2004, I won my first round, and then next day I was supposed to play a night match against Vera Zvonareva, and we had a practice in the morning at the club, and going back to the hotel, we got into a car accident with the official driver from the tournament. So I hurt my neck pretty bad at that point, and ended up having a surgery a few years after that because things just didn't get better. So that basically ended my career, having a neck surgery and that accident. It was a big bummer. I mean, I was really going at it and giving myself a chance, and was tough. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was, my career ended from today to tomorrow. It wasn't on my terms. It was like, okay, I don't find motivation. I have no goals. It's hard for me to train. I just started it basically. And it was tough for a few years for sure. Depression, trying to figure out what to do next, having pain, wasn't just like, okay, I don't play now, I'm going to do other things. But I was like day-to-day battles with, trying to figure out what's wrong and how to move forward. So then ended up, I started coaching a little bit, but at the same time, I wanted to see if there's something else that I would maybe like better than tennis, because I did struggle coming on court, just having not, working through things yet with like how my career ended. So I did go and work in the office, which I can 100% say that's something that I don't want to do in my life. And I'm glad I had that experience, because now I know that this is not for me. So then I went back to tennis, and I had my own club, um, which was fun and a great experience. But at the same time, it was difficult to be, the owner, the boss, the maintenance guy, the coach, the everything. I just said, I just want to coach. I want to be a coach, and I love doing that. I'm maybe even more passionate about it than I was as a player. Like I really love doing this. And I also had then I tried, and I had a coffee place, which was another great experience, but um, it's not something I know how to do. So, it's, one step forward, three steps back.
Right.
And, it's just kind of frustrating when you don't know what you're doing. It was fun, good experience, but I wouldn't do it again.
Right.
So
Now
yeah.
you were the Fed Cup captain though for a couple of years too, right?
Yeah. So I went from there. I was coaching on tour a little bit. I was in my club, and then I was a Fed Cup captain for 2 years. That was just before I moved here to the States.
Okay. And now you're here in the States. You've been here for about 5 years. Everything's going well as far as, what we've discussed, what I see, what you're posting. I know the kids love working with you. And I know you, just again, in talking with you and seeing what you're doing, you see the passion. I mean, it oozes out of you when you're showing what you're doing on social media and everything. And you bring the energy every single time, and it rubs off on the kids. I know that.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm very passionate about tennis, and if every time I said it, if I'm not going to be able to give my 110% when I step on the court, um, I need to find something else to do. And I was like that as a player, and now even more as a coach. And I really enjoy what I'm doing, and I really love to see how kids pick up on it and carry that. And it's not always just about tennis. It's also, the that's for life. And I do make relationships that I like to think that are going to go, past tennis, past my coaching or their playing. So it's super fun, and I really, really enjoy it.
That's the best part. The best part of it is the beyond the tennis stuff. My question for you, and I asked this to some other guests as well, for those that played at the elite level, a lot of those will like go to academies or stay on tour, coaching on tour with the elite professional players. Was it an adjustment for you to come back and you work with good players, but when I'm talking your level, you were elite of the elite. I mean, top 30 in the world. Was that an adjustment for you? Did you ever say, look, I want to continue to work with, professional type players, or was this something where you were looking forward to kind of broaden your horizon, and teach kids that are, good tennis players, may play in college, may not play in college, but good athletes, but they're not going to be at that super elite level.
So I did go on tour a little bit, and I did enjoy it. It's fun. It's completely different animal to, developing players and starting them off. And I'm a big believer in good fundamentals. And I really found myself in problem solve, right? Because like there's kids that I come and see and teach every day, there's always a glitch. It's always something to work on. It's not so much about tactics yet, but it's more about, technical stuff. And I love to see their progress, and I love to see where we are. Okay, now, forehand, backhands look okay. Let's move on. Now we talk cross court, higher over the net, pull an angle, come in, and just that development. I really, really enjoy it, and it's fun. And I liked coaching on tour too. It's not that, I hated it or I don't want to do it, but I really found myself and that passion in developing kids. It's fun.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking, a little bit of time of your day and kind of walking us through your
Sure.
journey. This was fun. A lot of fun for me. It always is. Cause again, I love hearing the different journeys of our guests. No two are ever the same. It's always different. And that to me is the fun part. And, it's great that we're colleagues now, and I see what you're doing. I love what you're doing, and keep at it. Hopefully we'll all get through this crazy virus sooner rather than later. Stay safe. Have all your students stay safe, and
Thank you.
keep at it because you're doing awesome work.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Stay
No
safe,
problem. We'll
guys.
talk soon. I'll see you soon.
See you
Bye.
soon.